Sipho Maseko, CEO of Telkom, you've been on a cost-cutting exercise, which some may say is very aggressive, and I wonder why you have even taken to the courts by Solidarity Union recently. But still, you're going ahead with voluntary severance packages. So what's the story there? What's going on?
Well, I mean, it is aggressive. It has to be aggressive because for us, it's a survival matter. If we don't deal with our cost base, we will not survive. Our competitors are a lot more efficient than we are. Customers don't want to pay for our inefficiency. Customers want more bandwidth, faster speed internet for less. The technology is changing very, very quickly. So it is therefore very important that we get ourselves to a position of financial sustainability very, very quickly. If we don't do that, we will not be able to survive this difficult phase. So you're absolutely correct. It has to be aggressive. It has to be fast. But at the same time, when it comes to people, it has to be done in the right way. And that is why we offered our employees who are non-unionized the opportunity to decide for themselves what they want to do. And that is why the operative word there is voluntary. So it's a voluntary early retirement. We try to give an incentive on top of that. And it's a voluntary severance package for those that are not in retirement stage or age yet, who can then decide how they want to manage their funds from then on. So we are indeed under a lot of pressure as a company. We've got to do something about our cost base over the next 3 to 5 years. It is going to be very difficult before we do the cool things. We have to do quite a lot of hard things before we do the cool things. And cost of people is one of them. Costs of buildings that we own is another. We own quite a lot of buildings. I think Telkom, if you were to put all of the buildings that we own on a per square meter basis, we would be slightly larger than Luxembourg as a country. We don't need all of that. It attracts rates and taxes, electricity costs. So you kind of add it all up. It becomes pretty heavy going. And it's a throwback from the past. We don't need all of that stuff. Technology is changing. Telephone is changing. So we therefore need to change as well.
There's also the matter of consolidation in the telco space, right? You yourselves have acquired BCX recently, and Vodacom is doing the same with the Neotel deal. Yeah. But you seem to be having a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't have an issue with the consolidation itself. But I guess for us here, we want regulators to be able to lay down the right principles and rules for consolidation, so that the rules they create are the rules that will apply to everyone. We want predictability. We want certainty. There can be a different set of rules for one group and a different set of rules for another. But we actually think that by doing that, it does not create a level playing field and a competitive environment that is sustainable for all the parties. So our real issue with some of the conditions, for instance, around when can spectrum be used, we're sort of saying, if you say 2 years, it is not an appropriate condition. Would prefer to see a condition that says when all of the parties have access to spectrum and can use the spectrum, because then we can have a competitive playing field. South Africa has been trying to migrate with the DTT process for the last 8-9 years. Who knows how long still it will take. So if others will have to wait for that process, whilst others can get a head start, that creates a bit of a conflict. And on the ICASA side, is for us, it's just to say to them, they need to comply with their own rules. And once you have a regulator that lays down the rules and it doesn't comply with its own rules, we have a problem with that. So it's a process issue, and it's also about how we manage this transition. Less about whether Vodacom and Neotel actually should come together. It's inevitable. Microsoft has just bought Nokia. We've bought BCX. Vodacom wants to buy Neotel. All of those things will happen, and I think more will happen. But hence, it's important for the regulators to establish the right rules up front. Otherwise, there'll be chaos.
Thanks very much, Sipho.
Thank you very much, Tim. Thank you.